Why, hello, Congregation Rainbow Warriors. It's John the Preacher. Right now, we need to talk about the coming cataclysm on April 15th that will likely mean the end of America as we know it. Probably right now you're thinking to yourself, what in the Sam Hill is he talking about? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm talking about the C.M.E. or corona mass ejection that will be headed straight for Earth on or around April 15th of this year. Now, what is a corona mass ejection? That is when the sun gets too full up of radiation and then it explodes a bunch of plasma and radiation right into our general direction. Now, all the scientists say we are headed into a very active solar cycle this year. Plus, I consulted my zodiac and the torrid meteor showers just passed by, and on April 15th, the sun is going to be in Aries' second house, which means it will be at its most aggressive. In addition to all that, I know this feller down at the gas station who's always staring up at the sun through his telescope, and he's telling me we got about 45, 46 days until it pops. Now, this won't be the first time this has happened. We had one not too long ago, back in 1859. When it hit all the telegraph poles and telegraph machines, they instantly caught on fire. Now, back then, they didn't have too many electronics. But if that were to happen today, the entire power grid would get wiped out. And they wouldn't be able to turn it back on in no day or two, okay? Because it would fry all them wires. So what's going to happen on April 15th when this all actually occurs? Well, day one, all that solar radiation will flood the body and bones of you and all your loved ones. And if you somehow survive that, this is what you're in store for. ATMs stop working, gas stations can't pump gas. Then 2 days into it, the water faucets start to run dry, toilets won't flush, and there'll be looting in all the usual places. By that I mean cities, of course. 1 week after the event, people will be running out of medicine. Backup generators at hospitals are going to be running out of fuel. And then 1 month after the event, the government has declared martial law. The same bozos who knew it was coming and didn't do nothing at all to prevent it are going to be out there trying to declare martial law. Now, they could prevent any damage from a C.M.E. by installing these washing machine-sized surge protectors at all the electrical transmission stations. It would cost $200 million. Now, I know $200 million sounds like a lot of money to you and me, but that's just like digging around to find change in between the couch cushions when it comes to all the money that Congress is spending day in and day out. But they're not going to do it because the Republicans and Democrats are too busy fighting over the border bill and Ukraine and Israel, like schoolgirls rolling around on the floor, pulling each other's hair out in clumps, smashing each other's faces into the water fountain, and going back behind the school and puffing on a Camel Light, blowing smoke rings out through the gap in their smile where their front teeth used to be. That is to say, we're going to be on our own. You can't rely on the government. That is why it's so important that you head on over to patrioticsurvivalist.com and prepare yourself. But first, right now, I'm going to give you a freebie. I'm going to show you how to protect yourself and your family in 2 simple steps. Okay, step 1. We're going to make you and your family some protective headgear to shield yourself from all the radiation falling out of the sky. Okay, what you want to do is get yourself some Reynolds wrap. The floral, okay? Not the plastic stuff. The plastic stuff's going to melt right into your hair. That's a rookie mistake. Okay? Now, I know all the people are going to be making the jokes. Ha, 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 hooting and hollering, tinfoil hat. Okay, but check the label. It's aluminum. It's not tin. All right? Now here, I'll roll the video. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make your protective headgear with your aluminum foil. Okay? Remember that. It's got to be aluminum foil. Now you take yourself out a nice big square, like so. And you make sure that you put the shiny side down. That's very important. Shiny side down. That's super important. Okay? Then you take one corner and connect it to the other corner. Like so. Make yourself a nice, clean crease here. Then go ahead and connect the other corner to make a smaller triangle, just like so. There you go. And then you fold up the bottom to make yourself a nice, beautiful brim. Now this is one size fits all, okay? This is gonna fit, this is gonna be for your wife and for your youngins, grandma, whoever you're trying to protect, okay? It fits everybody. There you go. Crush up the corners and you're done. And then you just go ahead, slip it on your head. And you got yourself all protected for the coming C.M.E. And I want you to know this works not just for coronal mass ejection, this works for if you got government mind control or an alien invasion, this is going to work for that too, okay? If you got Uncle Sam or the Greys peeping in your window, you can just sleep with this. It works as a nightcap too. You'll be protected all through the night. So it's got many uses. Okay, now you've made your hats. The next thing you need to do is rustle up some lead to protect your vital organs. This is what you're going to want to do. You want to call around to all the dentists in the area and ask them if they're getting rid of any of those lead vests that they use to cover you up with when they're taking them radioactive pictures. You want to get 8 or 9 of them and stitch together a nice quilt, okay? And I know you're over there probably thinking to yourself, April 15th, that's coming up pretty quick. Should I quit my job or skip work if I have to so I have time to work on stitching together that lead vest quilt? And the answer to that is absolutely. Now, what are you going to do if you can't find any lead vests? Now, you've called up all them dentists around town and they're fresh out because you were too slow. Fortunately, there is a plan B. Okay, there's a backup plan. You can paint your bunker or the roof of your house with lead paint, which is on sale now, 15% off right over there at patrioticsurvivalist.com. It comes in forest camo and desert camo. You're not going to be able to find no lead paint over at Menards or over at Home Depot or any of the paint stores because our tyrannical government made lead paint illegal years ago. It's a huge government conspiracy. They knew this was coming and they didn't want anybody surviving it. You know, people are always asking me, how do you know so much about science and government conspiracies and keeping yourself safe in a solar radiation blast? Well, I'll tell you, it's because I read. I'm not out there losing brain cells watching the mainstream media, okay? I read. I read everything. This information is out there if you know where to look for it. And that's why I always read Prepper Magazine. You'll notice if you pick up this month's issue that I'm featured on the cover. Now, I'm not on the editorial board. They actually won't allow me on the editorial board because they consider me to be too extreme. But I do contribute to it often. And I'm not making any money on this, okay? This is not a paid advertisement, all right? I just love the publication, and I recommend you subscribe immediately. And go out and get yourself a copy of the latest edition before all the grocery stores are shut down permanently. And as always, I need you to like this video. I need you to share it. I need you to subscribe to the channel. I also really need you to donate as much as you possibly can at patreon.com/JohnThePreacher so that we can keep getting this life-saving, vital information out before the solar flare and subsequent collapse on April 15th. Most importantly, I need you to think about what we said here today.